Rosalind was coming. She was going to be here. Was the door shut? It was open.
Well, it's 5:30. We'll call the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of June 21st, 2022 to order. Roll call, let the record show that all members are present with the exception of Rosalind Parks. We're going to do something a little different tonight, approval of the agenda. So we just need a motion to move things around on the agenda. If you could.
So moved.
We're going to move the number 2 request for a rezone to number 1 and deal with that. So we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So we will deal with that first. The minutes from the previous meeting, which was May the 17th, 2022. Everybody had a chance to look at the minutes? Any corrections, deletions, additions? A motion to approve the minutes then?
So moved.
Motion, is there a second? Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Report from the code officer?
The only thing I have for the planning commission this evening, you have your fresh printed copies of the newly adopted comp plan by the city. This was adopted last Tuesday night by the city council. This is our comp plan for the next 5 years until the next update. But those are your personal copies to keep. And one bit of housekeeping from the agenda approval just then. I think when we get to the new business items, you'll need to vote to table that item until next month.
We will.
I think you'll have to just.
We're going to do,
when you get to
we're
number
going to deal with
2.
that first.
Yeah,
And then.
that's fine.
Okay.
That's all I had.
All right. Is there any old business? No old business. Under new business, we did have 4 requests. And since we have adjusted the agenda, we'll deal with number 2 first. And number 2 was a request for a rezone at the Monroe Pavilion. They have requested that we table that request until next month. So I'll entertain a motion that we table.
I will motion that we move that until the July meeting.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That motion is tabled until the July meeting. So the next order of business will be a request for a COA, new construction at 1080 North Broad Street. Mr. Code Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The request before Planning Commission is a certificate of appropriateness application at 1080 North Broad Street. They are proposing to construct a dental office at that location. And just to look at the site plan behind you there, they're proposing to access North Broad Street from one driveway that would enter the site. They have a building that will be located in the center of the site with parking on each side of the building itself. The proposed architecture of the building, it was included with their application, meets the requirements for the corridor, including the dimensions of their site plan that I was just displaying on the screen. They also included a proposed landscape plan and other features that were compliant with the corridor requirements itself. The staff's review of that COA application recommends that it be approved subject to the 3 conditions that were outlined at the end of staff's report. And that's all that I have.
Thank you. Is there someone to speak for this request? Anyone? Yeah. Could you maybe come up and give us your name and?
Drew Wilson, Sullins Engineering, Winder, Georgia. 4,500 square foot dental office to relocate an existing office. Where's your existing office? Okay. Yeah, replace the existing. They've outgrown that one. It's going to be about 74.5 feet from the right-of-way. 20,000 square feet of pavement, 27 spaces, and I have architectural renderings if you'd like to look at them. They're up there.
Any questions? You're familiar with the 3 conditions that
Yes.
it's referring to? Is that suitable? Okay.
What's there now? I'm just curious. What?
You can see in the aerial photograph, it's not developed.
Yeah, it's just wooded.
It's right here, yeah. This is next to, there's an old house that was trying to get converted into an office here that's just to the south of it, and then Tanglewood subdivision to the north.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions? Entertain a motion? Motion to approve with conditions. Motion is to approve with the 3 conditions. Second?
I second that.
And all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? So motion passes. Next item of business will be a COA for signage at 400 Mayfield Drive for 3 separate signs. Mr. Kodofs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The site plan behind you shows 3 proposed locations for requested signage for this product that has been developed for some time. You can see in the aerial photograph, the footprints of the existing buildings that have been constructed. The property is zoned M1. The applicant's requesting to construct 3 different signs, a ground sign, a wall sign, and a silo sign. The first sign is a ground sign that would face Mayfield Drive. This is a ground sign that complies with the requirements of the corridor and the sign ordinance itself. And the representative sign is shown on the screen there with you. It's a brick monument sign with the company logo on the right-hand side of the sign. The applicant's also requesting to add a wall sign to their leasing office location that is located just a few feet down the entrance drive into the site itself. This is a small wall sign and it would comply with the requirements of the wall sign requirements in our sign regs. And then the third sign that's requested in the COA request is a gravity bulk grain feed silo that would have painted signage on it. This would be facing US Highway 78. The staff has reviewed all 3 signs, though, and has made a recommendation that the first 2 signs, the ground sign on Mayfield and the wall sign facing Mayfield, be approved as submitted, and then there's conditions that would be applicable to their construction. And then the third sign we are not supporting because this does not meet the requirements of the CDO corridor. So we've added a condition number 3 that not be allowed. And then there are some non-conforming signs and banners and what have you on US 78. We've added a condition that those be removed prior to permitting the first 2 signs. That's all that I have, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone present to speak for? Yes, sir.
Thank y'all. Wyatt Howard here on behalf of Mayfield. We did submit the 3 signs. Thank you for the 1 and 2. Just advertise our self-storage units there. For sign 3, the intention was to install a silo, 6-foot by 6-foot concrete pad attached to our existing curb along Highway 78, and then approximately a 12 to 15-foot tall silo with our sign, with our logo there painted on the side. The only intention for that was to match the quasi-rural, environment here in Monroe. I included some examples on there, obviously exterior lighting, illumination, things like that. Our intent was to advertise to traffic there along Highway 78. That's kind of where we were with that, so. Any questions?
So you're good with the you're good with doing away with the silo sign?
Yes, sir, if we have to, that's okay.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Would have to ask if there was anybody present to speak in opposition to this. Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll motion to approve with the staff recommendations.
With staff recommendations, a second.
Second that.
All right, have a second, a motion and a second to approve with the conditions. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion is passed. The last request is for a COA for demolition of existing buildings and redevelopment of site to allow construction of a mini storage warehouse facility at 809 North Broad Street. Mr. Kodoff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subject property is located north of the new entrance to the Monroe Pavilion Shopping Center. You can see that kind of outline on the site plan, that entrance here, just to give you some reference to where the location of this property is. There's currently an existing building in the front of the property that's got some tire sales and whatnot, and some other various, I think, leasing offices for U-Hauls and things like that are also at that location. They're proposing to access the property through this. This is their fee simple access to North Broad Street into the site itself. And they're proposing to develop that site with an office warehouse building in the front and a mini storage warehouse facility in the back. This would essentially be the first phase of the project, and then the second phase would be this office warehouse facility. The applicant submitted architectural renderings of the product itself that meets the requirements of the corridor as far as facade materials are concerned. They've added a few other elements on there, like some metal paneling and all that, and areas that may or may not be visible from North Broad Street, and I've got a condition that would address that specifically. But the other parts of the buildings that they've provided representations for do meet the requirements for the corridor. And so the staff recommended the project be subject to the two conditions that were outlined in the staff report. I can read those for you if you'd like, but specifically those are dealing with the proposed attached drawings. And the biggest thing would just be the metal paneling, which is a prohibition inside the corridor itself to prohibit metal buildings. So we've had a condition here that any metal that would be visible from the public roadway, that it be constructed with brick or stucco. That's all that I have.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of this request? Yes, sir.
Week, owner of 809 North Broad. We propose building in two phases. Phase 1's 48,000 square foot self-storage. Phase 2, well, in Phase 1 we clear all the land and then plant grass in the Phase 2 area. And Phase 2 would be an office warehouse. And I understand the conditions, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
You're good with the conditions as stated?
Yeah, just if we have clarification, anything visible from North Broad would have to be this stone brick.
Well, and it says any public street. So this would pop the Pavilion Parkway up. And I noted that specifically in the report, that due to that power easement through there, if there's extreme visibility of those buildings, that they should also not be metal. And I think we asked that there be a supplemental tree planting along there, because you're proposing landscaping there. We asked that there be supplemental trees planted along the sides of those buildings.
So we didn't put trees on that strip there, because we do have the power lines, and there is a Monroe power line there. So if we do landscaping that's not large trees, would that be acceptable?
If it's
or-
acceptable to the easement itself, I don't expect a full-size shade tree to be planted there, but something that would block, a modest, and I'm not necessarily a decorative tree, but a modest tree itself that's acceptable to them, because I think they do allow certain trees to be planted near the easement, because I don't think that, back up, I don't think the easement's is directly in this part right here. I think on your plan, that dash line kind of goes right through here. If it affects it, it affects it right here. I don't have the landscape plan on the slides itself here to verify. I think you had hedges along that side of that building itself.
I don't think we had anything on that side because of the power lines, but if there's, we'll do whatever's acceptable to the power line easement. I did include a landscape plan in what we submitted. So there's the MEAG easement, and there's also the City of Monroe has power lines that go across that point there in the middle.
So is your building abutting the actual power line easement itself?
The buildings, no.
And there is.
We'll put in whatever landscaping is allowed in that area, we'll put in.
Sure, I was gonna say, there is a narrow dimension of, it looks like there is not a power line easement against the buildings themselves. But we would need to confirm that at your site plan review.
Okay.
I think, obviously, if the commission's okay with this, if you put the appropriate materials on those buildings too, I think that would also address the concerns of the visibility.
Brad, just for the record, you want to restate that amended condition for the vegetative screening?
I don't think I actually put that in there as a condition, to be honest with you.
Well, if it was discussed right here, I just want to make sure it's,
We had it in the analysis, but not in the conditions.
yeah, I just want to make sure it's
Yeah, I did not include that.
on record here since it was discussed.
Thank you, Logan. There was not a condition that was placed in there, so the corridor commission could take my report where I've actually stated in that paragraph that we recommended that landscaping on the site be installed as proposed with rows of additional tree plantings along the southern sides of each of the proposed buildings. We had said that in the paragraph itself of the landscaping, but I did not include that as a condition.
Okay, well,
So you could add that as a condition if he,
include that as a condition.
and may want to add the words where possible that don't interfere with the easement.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Great.
All right, well, thank you very much. Any more questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Are we doing a motion to amend first?
You can do a motion to approve with the recommended amended conditions.
Conditions.
Yeah,
So
okay.
Motion to approve the two conditions with the amendment.
Yes, and a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And request is passed with conditions. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye.
God, nobody wants to adjourn?
We are adjourned. We are adjourned.
Second.
We are adjourned.
All right.